making a selfie video, looking at the camera. I think I should be looking this way. It's weird, but it's easier, much easier to look at my face. So I stare straight at my face. This is my face, this is the camera, and this is my face here. Yeah, it's much interesting. My eyes look wide. I know what I look like. I kind of stare at the same place, which is interesting because otherwise I will be doing this. And when I have myself in front of me, I keep on staring at the same spot. My eyes, my nose, my eyes. Kind of interesting. I was sitting today at the bench reading a book, a very nice book, and it just, no, I still look aside. Every time I need to think, I look aside. It's like, this is the way I think. Every time I needed to, no, every time I read something pretty, a sentence, something funny, emotional, I wanted to share. And that made me think that I would like to have somebody to share my life with, but the problem is that you can never really share an experience. It's still your experience. And if you watching something beautiful and you say, hey, look, that's beautiful, the person that is with you, he will look, but he will see something completely different. So are you really sharing? And I remember how frustrating it is to say, hey, look, and the person that is with me is looking and doesn't really get it, or maybe sees something different and starts a conversation about something different. And then I lose what I was watching, what I was feeling when I saw whatever it is that I saw. So then I thought maybe it's better to be with my own thoughts and not say, hey, look, to somebody else that will distract me from what I am seeing at this moment. But it's still, there is still a very strong desire and urge to say, hey, look, and to share. And again, with my trying to figure out what relationship is for, I pretended that I have a dog, and it was fun for a while. And then I pretended I have like a romantic partner, and it was fun for a while. I pretended I have a child, and it was fun for a while. And then I hit like a problem because a child is only mirroring what I am, and a child will eventually grow up. I mean, he will be my shadow for maybe 10 years, like that's the maximum, I think. Even if he's around when I'm 50, when he's 15, it's a problem because I'm the mother, I'm not the father. You can hang around with your dad when you're 15 and it's cool. If you're hanging around with your mom when you're 15, you're a mama's boy, and that's not very healthy. And as cool as I am, I'm still going to be the mom. I'm still going to be the one who's nurturing and worrying and all that. So if you're hanging around me when you're 15, something's wrong with you and you don't feel safe in the world. So even if I had a kid, he will be around me until he is about 10, which is, I think, maybe even a bit too much. And then what? Then I have to get another kid just to have somebody with me to share and say, hey, look. And even if I say, hey, look, to a child, he's probably going to think something completely different. So am I really sharing? And yes, I guess I am sharing with the child more than anybody else because He is my reflection, my construction. I built this child. I molded this child because he is with me since he's born. So everything he knows about the world is what I tell him, what I show him. So yeah, I get like a cool partner, cool, like an imaginary playmate. That's, I think, a child is an imaginary playmate. It's like somebody who's with you all the time. He's doing whatever it is you're doing. He's really excited. He loves you. He adores you. He's like your biggest fan. And it's a high, I think, because I work with kids, so I know it's a high. It's very. It's a lot of fun when they worship you, when a bunch of kids worship you, and they everything you say is interesting. And then I feel like I'm an interesting person, so I get even more interesting. So when I go out into the world and speak with grown-ups, I believe I'm interesting because I've absorbed this thing in my kids, and then I become interesting because I believe it. So other people think I'm interesting too. So it's like a circle of being interesting. And oh, I get this glowing. That's cool. But is it what I want? Do I want a fan club? No. So if I get like a lover, a partner, a romantic partner, all that stuff, what is that? If he's a strong enough individual, then he will have his own inner world, and I will try to say something like, hey, look, and he will say, oh yeah, it looks like blah 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 blah, something different than what I'm seeing. So what did that give me? I mean, maybe we can have a conversation about whatever it is that he's seeing, whatever it is that I'm seeing, but is he really with me in this moment of, hey, look, what is our connection to each other? How fulfilling it is to say to somebody who's seeing something different, hey, look. And I do know it's distracting, because when I'm saying, hey, look, it's beautiful, and then the other person says, oh yeah, it's really ugly, so I cannot not be influenced by it. So I will look at it, and I will probably think, yeah, it is a bit ugly now that you're saying, but what is the value of that? On one hand, I get another perspective, which makes the experience more whole, more true, because it's probably also ugly and beautiful at the same time, and I just didn't see it that way. But I lose my admiration of whatever it is that I was just admiring, because somebody who I value just says, well, it's ugly. So what am I feeling at this moment? What will I next time when I see something beautiful, will I say it? Will I point at it, and will I say, hey, look? Or maybe I won't, because I don't want it to be ruined by somebody who doesn't exactly appreciate the same things, who doesn't see the same things that I see. And it's like a rough example, but these things can be much more subtle, and the differences between the perspectives could be much more subtle, and it doesn't have to be, oh, it's ugly, oh, it's beautiful. It can be just a slight change in a point of view, but it still influences the way I feel and see whatever it is that I'm looking at. So I read a very moving sentence in a book, and I am moved. I feel so much, and I want to share it. But as soon as I bring somebody else into this world, this person is bringing whatever he is feeling saying, thinking, whatever into my world, so I lose my feeling. Do I want that? Is it worth it? No, it isn't. So I'm sitting on the bench alone, and obviously the best thing I can do is like have a Facebook post, look, it's beautiful, and then nobody can argue, nobody actually cares, nobody reads it because it's just a sentence from a book, and maybe I'll get a like, which is very neutral. I mean, it could be, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, and I'll never know because it's a like, it's not even a comment. And if the comment is, oh yeah, I see what you see, oh yeah, it's kind of beautiful, I still don't really know if the person sees what I see. Probably doesn't. But it's the most neutral and very satisfying way of sharing without getting somebody else to shit on your dreams, on your thoughts and feelings and stuff. But I do get still the urge to share with normal people, live people, because I do feel that this isolation is not perfect, I think. I don't know what it is that I want. I don't know who I want in my life. In what way would I like somebody in my life that doesn't actually damage the way I experience life? Because every time I try this, every time I think of it, it just feels like too big of a sacrifice. I have friends, nice people. I can sit around and laugh and discuss things, and it always feels like I'm missing something, like they're missing something, like we're shouting to each other from a great distance, and we're not exactly getting through to each other. And all our communication is like, this is as best as we can do it, but it's not accurate. And sometimes I just feel so drained. I just want to be alone with a person that feels whatever it is I'm feeling, and the only person that is me. So when I'm sitting around with people and we're laughing and telling stories and discussing things, sometimes all I really want to do is to be alone with myself, so I can feel the real experience of this moment without anybody ruining it for me. I'm weird. I don't know if people are usually like this, because I think maybe they are, but they just need this interaction much more than I do. So they ignore the fact that they are not really communicating. They're just shouting their truths to each other, and there is no real, like, a connection. Sometimes there is. Sometimes I feel like there is a connection, but there were times when I felt a very strong connection with somebody, and then after that I was told that it was only in my head. So I don't know. I really don't know. I had like moments when I thought that me and this other person that I'm talking to were seeing the exact same thing in this beautiful moment, and we are experiencing it together. And then, I don't know, when I'm discussing that with this person a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years later, whatever, he says, oh yeah, I experienced blah blah blah. And I said, that's not what I felt. I felt something different. Where were you? Where was I? And that's really sad. So I cannot really trust my feelings. That's really sad. I can't know that the feeling of connection is actual connection, because, well, what is reality anyway? And if I'm eating watermelon, maybe I'm not really eating anything. Maybe I'm just hallucinating eating a watermelon when I'm actually just a piece of brain on a petri dish or something. So I can imagine a watermelon, I can imagine my life, I can imagine a connection, and everything is just in my mind. What does it matter? But it's fun to have a connection. It's fun to imagine having a connection. So maybe I should get somebody that I can at least imagine having a connection with and not ask too many questions, just to have some fun. I don't know. That's what I thought when I was reading a book. I was very busy with myself. No room for anybody else. Barely the book. And that's my Saturday.